skip that. All right, let's go to our phone lines now. We've got Ryoku hanging on the line. What's up, Ryoku? How's it going?
Hey, it's been a while.
Yeah, thanks for calling Limit Break Radio.
Yep. Well, with the whole jumping potions thing, I don't think it's entirely horrible. However, I do think it's way too early to think about something like this. I mean, like maybe if we were like entering our 5th or 6th expansion when we're like anywhere near like over 100 levels, it would make more sense. But right now, like only like maybe going up to 70, this is I do see that it's way too soon for something like this.
Yeah, I agree. If they're gonna, I mean, there's no way to. I don't know, man. Is there a way to not even address this? I think, like, you know, the media did push the conversation around Heavensward, where there was a lot of criticism, open criticism of the decision to storygate it, and I just don't know. Was there a way that Square Enix could have moved forward and not had to address this problem?
I feel like they had to at least talk about it because, just like you say, at the 3.0 launch, it was a topic of conversation. It is something they should mention going into this. I don't like to hear that they're considering it.
No, I don't either, and I agree with Ryoku that the timing on this is very poor. You know, that we're really only 3 years into FF14 as it, you know, as
its current state,
as it being a successful game,
right?
And I think that to have this conversation, WoW was at like at least
a decade.
No,
was it that long?
No. I don't know.
Yeah, it's been a decade. It's been a decade for WoW.
Well, no, but how old was WoW when they added the ability to fast forward your character to max level?
They added it just before the Warlords of Draenor expansion.
So WoW would have been out how long?
6.
That was.
I'm looking it up now.
That was like the 4th expansion.
2014.
2014.
2014 was Warlords of Draenor.
That's recent.
So yeah, it happened in 2014. It wasn't that long ago this happened.
I feel like there was a way that you could, because I remember on commercials for WoW back in college, like where they were like, buy a fully level character.
No, there was the Recruiter Friend campaign things that they had, but that was only like an annual thing they did do once in a while, but they didn't do anything like purchasing a fully level character until Warlords, but by then they were going up to level 95, 100.
I don't know. I just, again, it's too early to have the conversation. I think that it's a terrible idea. Again, Elder Scrolls just pulled the trigger on it, and I think that they pulled the trigger on theirs too early as well. So,
I mean, Elder Scrolls is in a really different situation, though.
No, but the thing is that Elder Scrolls doesn't have, like, so many crazy expansions that people need to skip through, so I'm not entirely sure why Elder Scrolls is doing that already. It does seem early.
Well, according to them, they've got like 8 million people playing.
Well,
they do have a bunch of people playing. It's just on one server. But in terms of like the story and the things you have to jump through, it doesn't make sense to have a jumping potion at this stage in its life.
No, it wouldn't.
I think to do the jump in ESO, you should have to kill a mud crab for every level you want. That's the rule. You get one for every level.
Plus, also, the one thing that that hasn't been thought about is how the potion would work. Because most likely, the way I see it, it would probably only be one job or one class that you can get to max level, but you'll still have to level all the other jobs.
There would be so much backlash on that.
I mean, yeah, in terms of how it would function, that sounds right. And then they would probably have to limit it per character. You know, like you can only use that potion once. And you can't, like, so, you know, you can't have someone that just buys, you know, like 10 different jumping potions and then just power levels all of their shit. I think, I mean, there would have to be rules that come along with it, so it wouldn't work exactly like a WoW WoW potion.
Dude,
but
if
still, it's terrible. Yeah, and I agree. There's going to be a huge backlash.
If 14 lets you buy a max level character before 11 does, that's pathetic.
Also, I don't. There's no need to buy a max level character in a game where you can get to 50 halfway through the main storyline quest.
Yeah.
Like, there is really no reason for that. And anyone who does is just a lazy and stupid, and clearly MMOs are not for you anyway. So, like, why are you playing an MMO if you just want to jump to the end? That's not the point of an MMO.
Right.
When the MMO is the experience.
Right.
And especially in a game like this with such a great story. Like, anyone who wants to skip the story, like, come on.
Cecil makes a good point. How many people are going to use this just to buy max level crafting jobs?
But then again, Nika,
should be
you're
a rule.
also imposing the way that you choose to enjoy the game. Some people just want to experience the Vaden content or the max level PvP content.
Then go
And
play
that's what
fucking Destiny.
Yeah, then go play a one-player game or another kind of online
Jesus.
game that has that
Not-
kind of content.
Not even that, but you're gonna buy a max level character. You can't go raid immediately.
No,
you're gonna
that's
suck.
what
You know
I was
how to play
saying
your
earlier.
character.
Yeah.
You have no idea what your rotation's supposed to be like.
I would be like okay with like if you already have one character, like your main character has already experienced the story, it's already max level, to like get a jumping potion for an alt or something. But like you have to have already have had a character already,
Yeah,
and you can
that-
only jump like one character to level 50. You
I'd
can't
be okay
jump like
with that.
all of your crafting classes to 50. It's not an XP leveling potion, it's a story skip potion. So that
Story
way you
skipping,
can't just buy end game crafting jobs.
Right.
All you can do is that once you have one character that's already through the story, you can buy one for an alt to skip the story and then play with where your other character already is. I think that would be
I don't blame him for that. The second time
okay.
through the storyline is boring.
I just can't. I almost can't believe that this is a conversation that
Right.
that is happening, because it should just be. Honestly, if I were Square Enix, I would just be like, no, play the game.
I actually fully.
We've made it easier. We've eased these requirements so many times that we've given you a way to experience this without having to put undue burden on the player. This is
and
not.
I don't know who's complaining about this either. Like I
Yeah.
spent a good amount of time in the novice chat, and I can tell you with how many novices are telling me how much they're really enjoying the story and like asking these questions like, oh, when do I get my first mount and all that stuff, and they're like really excited when they finally get to
media.
20 and can join a grand company and get their first mount. Like, why would you want to skip all that shit?
Yeah,
Like, come on.
It's and it's a good experience to have as a player, and really it doesn't take that long. What takes much longer, like I was saying, is to pump your eye level up once you get to level cap to be able to queue for the dungeons that you need.
Right.
That's way more challenging.
I fully expected to have this conversation on episode 268 of Limit Break Radio. Why the hell are we having this now? How is this happening so soon?
I think with a new expansion coming out, they don't want to get a lot of backlash, like we said, from the media.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of.
I agree. I
Because
think
everybody
it's
that
media
plays the
driven.
game now, the Sprouts love it.
So do you think this might be a bit of a smokescreen then, that they're like acknowledging it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if they cave, though, I really feel like they're just caving to media, and that would
I like
be.
what Blouse who said a jumping potion is a 1-year veteran reward. Then you can use it on your alts.
Oh, I like that.
That would okay, but it would just be a matter of time before that item, if they gave us that item in the game, that it would be available through the cash shop.
Yeah.
Because at that point we're like, oh well, I can see the virtue of it, blah blah blah, because we've all
But you
had it.
can't buy it unless you already have a max level character that's already been through the story.
Then what's the point?
But for an alt.
I mean, sure, that's fine, but like they're talking about ways to bring in new players,
Right.
That
The new players are already playing.
that entirely defeats
who is
the
actually
point.
complaining about this though?
Like I said, the media was.
The media
The
was
actual
very vocal.
players are not complaining. So
I highly doubt it.
Well, apparently WoW players that Yoshi P knows and talks to are complaining about it. That's the thing, is that
and they can go play in their pretty little panda land.
why Yoshi, why are you listening to WoW players? Like, I understand that, okay, they're a potential audience, but like, why not listen to the community that you have?
And make the game better to steal those players.
Exactly. Because that's the thing,
You don't
that's
want
the
another
thing that's
WoW
going to
clone.
get people. Yeah, that's what's going to get people to jump ship, is if they hear that it's a better time over here. And I mean, just the idea of a fast forward button. I don't know. It offends me. It offends me. It offended me back in WoW, and it offends me still, because as an MMO player, I want to feel attached to my character. You know, like that's the reason that I play an MMO. And going, oh well, you know, if we just cater to that style, I mean, that's what an MMO is, though.
Especially an MMO like Final Fantasy, which is known for its story. Like, there's just no reason you would be so confused.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, it's just jumping all the way to 4.0. Can you imagine, like, whatever the story ends up on after this? Be like, you know, we're rushing into Alamigo, and there's like this big hunt going on, and the new player's gonna be like, I'm confused. I don't like this game. It doesn't make sense. You know, and then I'm like, well, maybe you shouldn't have skipped the entire fucking game.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Ryoku. We appreciate it. If you want to call Limit Break Radio on Skype, send a Skype message, or 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. Going to go back to the phone lines and talk to Zero Ashinzari. What's up, Zero?
Hey, guys. I haven't talked to you in a little while.
How's it going? Thanks for calling Limit Break Radio.
Well, about this jumping potion, I do not want to see it at all. We already had the Steps of Faith originally from 2.55 get nerfed to hell because it was too hard. And now we're going to up-jump a bunch of new players to the game where people are having just a little bit of difficulty with any of the current content right now. This is going to bring a huge influx of new players with no idea of rotation. Yeah, of the bads.
Yeah, of just and just like pants shittingly bad too.
If they do this, could they please add like another option to vote somebody out as bad player?
Do you know where there should be a jumping potion on a test server? On a beta server.
Okay.
That's the only place there should be a jumping potion.
Yeah, no,
I would be just fine with that. And then you know what? Media people can go play on the test server.
There you
That's
go.
a good idea.
That's
How about
actually,
that?
I don't disagree with that at all, Escalia. You know, actually, if we're gonna add an icon for, you know, being in character and role playing, like I totally agree with Papa Woody's idea of like vote kick for just being a bad, and if you get 20 of those, you get branded with a red mark.
Oh, I like that, like a big red X.
Yes, the scarlet letter. You get marked with a scarlet letter, like this is an objectively bad player.
I'm gonna get one immediately. They're just gonna start me off with one.
I think that, I mean, hey, if we're just gonna add icons to things, why the hell not? But yeah, Zero, I agree with you. I think that this is a really, really bad idea.
Well, the other thing to think about as well is let's take a look at the new stack mechanic icon. How many people are fucking that up with Weeping City and Nidhogg Normal?
It's true. It's true. Yeah.
Oh God, I got a mark. Gotta run away.
What's that icon mean? What's that on the floor?
Yeah, no, I think it means jump in. Oh God, we had a guy in Weeping City this morning. As soon as he got the red mark, he booked it off to the edge.
No,
I was like,
no.
I'm like, where you go, dude?
Just die. And leave that person dead.
I took like 6 steps to chase him before I was like, what the hell am I doing? I'm not wasting my DPS on this loser.
I will not raise people like that.
Good. That's
You're the hero we deserve.
You know what?
Thank you.
And here's the thing. At some point, and this is, I can't wait for Square Enix to do this. They're going to reverse that graphic and have the arrows point outwards. You know what I mean? And it's just going to fuck everyone up.
Curveball.
We're just gonna go, no.
Get away.
Yeah. And well, Square Enix is actually really good about that, about setting player expectation and then subverting that later on to be able to, to in essence try to kill the player.
Right.
And I think that's generally smart, game design, so you don't end up with, as Yoshi P said, an audience that is too complacent. And we've seen that. I think we've seen a very complacent audience with Void Ark. I think we've seen a very complacent audience with the first round of Alex fights, with Gordius, and I'm glad that they are at least conscious of it, right? Like at least they're conscious of it, and hopefully they're going to continue to correct that in the future, because like last week we talked about Yoshi P said that they are trying to take equal influence from second generation MMOs and first generation MMOs, and that this latest round of content is more influenced by what we used to see with first generation MMOs. And I think that is a great development philosophy when saying, okay, we've built up a really good game here, now what do we do with it? And I wish that they had given that consideration a little bit earlier. Like, I wish that I feel like it could have come earlier, but the fact that it's coming at all to me is encouraging. So, Zero, thanks for the call. We appreciate it, man. You got any shout outs?
Just a shout out to the server Midgar Somer and my FC for Nomad and Boogles. God damn it, I'm drunk.
That's what's up. Thanks for the drunk call. If you'd like to drunk dial Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715.
We're like everyone's ex podcast. As soon as they get drunk, they call in.
Right?
Yeah. You're not wrong. LimitBreakRadio.com/Discord. If you want to call in on Discord, we'd like to hear from you. What do you think about the idea of a jumping potion? Is this something that you'd like to see in Final Fantasy XIV? Is it something that is needed? Have you ever had a friend that you've brought to the game that didn't stick around because you weren't doing enough with them, or whatever? We'd like to hear from you. Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715.
By the way, for those of you who have never called in before, there is a process to this. Please send me a message first. Don't just call.
Yes.
Send me a message and I will get you in the queue. The phones are ringing off the hook right now.
Okay.
I would actually like to hear from somebody that is on the side of it. Legitimate.
Good luck.
I would too.
Can we get some media personnel on here?
Right?
That's the thing is, I don't think anybody who plays this game actually wants this.
Hey, IGN, do you have someone who wants to call in?
No,
not.
They don't. I guarantee you that they don't. But yeah, if you do, if you disagree, we would like to hear from you. Let's go again back to our phone lines and talk to Zaris of Genova.
One sec.
Not there yet. That's too bad.
You didn't answer.
So yeah, we are taking calls again on Skype and on Discord. Limit Break Radio, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. Zaris, are you there?
Yep.
Hey, what's up, Zaris? Zaris of Genova joining us now here on Limit Break Radio. Thanks for calling in. What's going on?
Well, there's actually a couple of things. Like, one of the big things with this game is, just like the last caller said, was the skill level in this game isn't as great at the end game as most other games you can find. So, especially boosting people to the end would just... Yeah, people are already complaining about nerfs and stuff like that, so to boost them to the end, and they have no idea how to play their jobs, and I feel like this game, a lot of their jobs it takes a little bit more skill, a little more skill to actually play, so you boost new people to these, to the end, and they have no idea what they're doing, and this game, it's not just the story that you're experiencing as you level up. A lot of this stuff is actually introducing you to a lot of new systems and stuff throughout the game, which to me is why I never leveled an alt, because I don't want to go through all that crap again.
Sure. But I mean, it's not to the level of like where it was in FF11, where it was like a second character was a massive undertaking. You had permanent what do you call them, benchmarks to be able to meet to unlock certain things. I'm thinking of Kazam keys, sub jobs.
Yeah, I feel like if 11 never put in a system where you can just have access to sea and sky without doing story, why would we need that in this game?
That's what I was saying earlier. Like, how would that possibly show up in this game before 11?
Right.
Yeah.
Like 11 was always just like, nope, fuck you. Got to do the story, and then you can have sky and sea.
Even today, where the game is on its last legs, if you start a new character, do it all. You have to go do everything. You can maybe skip airship because no one uses the airship anymore, but that's it.
Yeah. It is strange to have them sort of kowtow to their audience like this. It's and not even their audience.
No,
it's
their
like
media.
It's an external an external factor.
Well, and I could see it if it was like we were going into patch 6.0 and they want to consider it, like new people coming in. But my fiance just started maybe a month ago. And I've seen some people in chat say that like nobody's doing the low level stuff. She hasn't had an issue getting into any of the low level story dungeons.
Nope.
So that's definitely not an issue.
I agree on one front. There will come a time where there will be like 5 expansions to this game, and like it'll be a metric ton of stuff you would have to do to catch up.
Sure.
And I am fine
that's
with maybe readdressing it at that point, but not now.
Yeah.
We're not
why,
there.
Like World of Warcraft, it's Warlords of Draenor was their 4th or 5th expansion or whatever, and at that point, leveling wasn't hard anyway. But to boost somebody to 90 so you can go through the new expansion with your friends, like that was kind of understandable. I mean, I still didn't like the idea of it, but
after 5 or 6 years, I mean, I think that's a different conversation.
And there's a difference too. Catch me if I'm wrong on this, but didn't the Cataclysm already happen, and most of the old content was not available anymore anyway?
Well, the Cataclysm stuff happened, but like after Cataclysm, they redid all the zones. Like the zones weren't the same that people who played before Cataclysm. So if you went through it, like I wanted to level through it specifically to see the differences.
Right.
But this game isn't even at that point. We're going into the second expansion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know realistically the game has been around for a little bit because of 1.0, but this game's leveling system isn't hard, and so there really isn't a need for it. The life of the game we haven't been that long into the game to even people need to consider it. Like these reviewers don't need to just get boosted. If Yoshi wants to put a class for them to specifically level through the expansion so they can view it, fine. Don't ruin it for the rest of the players who, like you guys said, new players aren't even complaining about having to level through this stuff, and they're enjoying the story.
Yeah.
Or like my fiance, she doesn't really pay attention to the story for whatever reason, but she still enjoys the leveling experience. And they have you can scale your character down to do dungeons with your friends, or you can scale them down to do fates. Your friends don't need to be boosted to join us.
Exactly.
And they have no idea how to run their classes because we can go down to their level.
There are that's such a weak justification for why they would put something like that in here is, oh, well, there are some people who can't play together. What, in what instance? Like, you have made so many ways that people can play together that by justifying the decision to allow people to skip all of that content, it really falls flat.
Right. And well, by the way, like it's not like you're not doing things like Deep Dungeon where high levels and low levels can play together.
Exactly.
You're introducing that's a much better way of letting high levels and low levels play together.
I agree.
And the way XP is dished out in this expansion, it'll probably be even more for that older content for players to catch up. It'd be so much faster.
Right. Absolutely. They'll keep easing it. And I think that, even like an XP bonus potion where you apply it and you get double XP. The rings that they used to have in 11, the XP bonus rings. That was
Empress Band.
Yes, those were great ways and creative ways of trying to solve the leveling grind solution. And I think that they've not explored anything like that. The only XP boosts that you get are just very nominal boosts from food.
There's also the manuals
from the novice thing.
Let me take
the ring of the novice.
Let me take you back to FF11. Do you remember when they introduced the MOG tablets?
Yeah.
And if you happen to find one, you could get that Ultra XP ring.
Yeah.
That thing was gold.
That thing was
Literal
amazing.
Gold. I knew people who would have given their left arm for that ring.
Yeah.
For its 10 uses, but basically like 10 levels.
It really is. I think that they could come up with a way more creative way to do this than just eat a potion and skip all the levels.
Leveling is not hard in this game.
It's
Like
not.
people are
It's
literally
not.
saying if you go through the story, just the story quest alone will get you to 50 before you finish. So why do we even need such a thing?
I had
don't-
to switch
we
over
don't.
to another job so I could keep getting XP.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and like other people have said, like to kind of defend it, like if you had to hit 60 first before you even had the option to acquire it, so you could use it for an alt to boost on a different server or something, or if you had to be a subscriber for a year and you get that as a veteran reward, like if they want to give it out as a reward for people who've actually put the time into the game, that's one thing, and that isn't that bad. But for someone who's a new player to just come out, boost their character, and then we get more people who can't even run a 24-man raid when that's not horribly difficult. Like it'll be more detrimental, I think, to the player base than good at this point. A few years down the road, maybe not, but that's a different story, and we'll get there when we get there.
It's not hard
Totally
to level.
agree with you, Zaris. Yeah.
Like I was level 53 coming out of A Realm Reborn.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
Going into Discord, I was already 53.
Yeah. Zaris, thank you very much for your call to Limit Break Radio. We've got a couple more people hanging on the line here that want to sound off about the jumping potion. We'll get to you guys, don't worry. If you want to call Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. If you'd like to call in on Discord, taking all of your calls around jumping potions, as well as any of the other items that were talked about at the E3 this year. Do we have our next caller on? All right, let's go to the phone lines. We're going to talk to Selwyn Strike of Gungnir. What's up, Selwyn? Thanks for calling Limit Break Radio.
Oh, what's up, man? It's Sharad in the chat from Japan.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah, it's 4 a.m. in the morning. You got me to stop doing my homework on this jumping post and shit.
Oh, dude. I
guess we're sorry.
We're sorry, but thank you for calling the show, man.
No problem. It just a thought came to me. Do you think that with the popularity of the Feast and PvP doing a lot better now, and I think maybe Yoshi P or Square, I'm not sure who said it, with the interest of going and getting FF14 in the esports one day eventually when the PvP picks up, do you think that maybe the jumping potions might be to get pro esports players quicker to the end game so they can just get involved in the PvP and skip the story?
Okay, all right. So let's unpack that a little bit. First of all, Square Enix saying that they have an intention for maybe the Feast becoming an esport is one thing versus it actually happening. The amount of factors that are played against you for having your game be a successful esport is astronomical. I mean, frankly,
I don't think our PvP is in depth enough to become a real esport.
No way. Neither do I. In fact,
not at all.
I was thinking on if they improved it more, what the popularity of the Feast was, and if they continue to improve on it. Maybe I was thinking that that's where they're trying to go. Me personally, I don't play PvP. I'm glad that it's growing as it is, but I don't see the point in doing this jumping potion thing unless that's something that they're working towards.
Unless that's already in place, I feel like.
Yeah, I don't know. See, the thing is I mean, like, if we're talking about, like, you know, and we don't even really know what this statement was intended to really mean. It could be that, well, we wanted like an esports style thing, or we want this to catch on in our community, like esports is, or like we want the matches to be short or something like that. You know, like there's a multitude of ways that could be taken, and I don't think that Square Enix is so naive as to say, well, we're going to try to get what is the ESL on this or whatever. Like, I don't think I
think we're far from that.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no. There are so many factors working against you.
Yeah, and if that was the reason for their jumping potion, I feel like
that would be
they should not put in the jumping potion until Feast has, or until like PvP has officially been like, okay, it's an esport now. Now we're putting in the jumping potion. Like, talking about it now is stupid.
To my knowledge, no MMO has ever meaningfully contributed to esports.
Yeah,
and I don't think it's going to start with 14.
I don't think it will either.
Somehow I doubt it.
And that's how I feel as well, which is why I'm like, why are we getting why are you talking about jumping potion so early? For no reason, just like it would be early for them to talk about PvP. It's something stupid to me.
Right.
I don't understand.
I agree, Selwyn. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. It is a bit frustrating, and I don't think it's a good idea. I think that the backlash that the community has shown since this idea has made its way to the public stage is appropriate. I don't think that this would be good for our long-term community. No, I want, in terms of people, who do you want playing your game? Who do you want playing your game? Do you want the people who have invested the 3 years and have given you $12.99 every month for 3 years? Or do you want to try to bring in people who, they're one second they're playing Halo and the next they're like, oh, I wonder what else I could play. FF14, give that a shot. They'll pay.
Exactly.
They'll pay. They won't even pay for the first month. They'll play for the 30 days and give it up. And I'm not saying that, like, if they meet the leveling process, or if they if they skip the leveling process, they're still only going to play for 30 fucking days and move on to the next goddamn thing.
Right.
You need to be supporting the people who are plugging money into your product month over month. And if they don't, or if they do something to really alienate that side of their audience, it's going to hurt them on a financial level, and it's going to be bad for us as a community.
I just see it's just making this game more like WoW is just ridiculous. One of the main reasons I don't play WoW is because of the buying level things.
Exactly.
So I don't understand why they would bring this to Final Fantasy 14. It's a fucking Final Fantasy game.
I agree.
At the risk of once again giving SC too much credit, is this maybe their like way of saying like, hey, let's put this out there, watch the fan backlash, and then we have something to say like to the media who has a complaint like, hey, you guys are doing this again. Like, well, our fans thought that was stupid and they didn't want it. They very vocally said they don't want it.
That could be.
You know what?
That could be.
I actually never really considered that they're floating this out there as a way to win 4.0. Yeah, when 4.0 comes out, to be able to defend the decision to Storygate it. I mean, the question was, do you still have that intention? The answer was yes, but we're taking feedback on it.
Right.
If they go, okay, we've changed our mind on this, we're gonna keep in standing with the decision that we made with 3.0 because that's what our player base wants. I think that, first of all, you know what, media, get fucked. Go cry in a corner. I don't give a shit. If you're not willing to put in the time to review an MMO properly, then don't review an MMO. Don't have your site review MMOs. If that's too much of a time sink, then you know what? I don't know what to tell you. Yeah. You're a site that reviews goddamn video games. Sit down and play the fucking video game.
And it's an expansion to an MMO. Like, who really cares about your review to an expansion anyway?
That's true too. Yeah. Well, Square Enix does, because they want as much press as possible around their expansion, and they want as much positive press. I mean, let's not forget that. For as much as we're saying that this is a bad idea, it is being driven by understandable market decisions.
Sure.
There is a significant portion of players, video gamers, who say, well, we don't want to have to put up with leveling that shit. I would say that they're bad video gamers and they don't understand the point of playing video games, and they're probably millennials that are they just have no concept of putting work into anything or getting joy out of any kind of work. But you know what? That's fine. That's besides the point. I really do. I think you are maybe giving Square Enix a little bit too much credit, but I really do hope that maybe that is the point to talking about this.
Yeah, hopefully.
Anyway,
go
go on.
No, go ahead. I was just gonna say thanks for taking my call. I can hold you guys up.
Okay, and we were gonna let you go. So there you go.
That worked out.
It's very.
Yep. Selwyn, thanks for the call. If you'd like to call Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. Got a lot